Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Code with Sunny, and today I am going to discuss the problem minimum cost string of educational code forces round 107 rated for division 2, the fourth problem. Okay, so let's discuss the problem now. The cost of a string S will be defined as number of index pairs I and j such that this condition holds. And what is the condition? S of I must be equal to S of j and S of I plus 1 must be equal to S of j plus 1. Okay, so basically a substring of length 2 with different initial indexes, and if there exists total number of, we need to basically count the total number of equal substrings of length 2 of different starting indexes. That will be the cost, I think. Okay, and we need to minimize the cost, and we need to print the such any such string with that minimum cost. Okay, so also we have been given two positive integers n and k, and among all the such strings of length n that contain only the first k characters of the Latin alphabet, and find a string with minimum possible cost. Okay, so the question becomes much more trickier with the given value of k, that is we need to consider only the first k characters of the Latin alphabet. Okay, so how we are going to do that? Okay, so no need to worry about. I am going to just explain the entire problem statement with the help of examples, and how to analyze this problem and find out the best solution of this problem. Okay, so n is going to vary up to 2 into 10 power 5, and k is going to vary up to 26, obviously, because there will be 26 characters in the alphabet. So okay, so we have to print the any string s such that it consists of n characters, and it consists of only the characters of first k letters of the Latin system, and it has the minimum possible cost. We have to minimize the cost and print any such string s. Okay, and if there are multiple, anyone can be accepted. Okay, so now let's understand this problem and find out the best efficient solution of this problem in the best possible way. Okay, so let's move further. Okay, so here is the example that I have taken over here. Now you are not going to understand these steps. So let me first make it clear what I am going to just do over these terms. Okay, now just tell me one thing, that we need to minimize the cost, and we have been said that S of I must be equals to S of j, and S of j, sorry, S of I plus 1 must be exactly equal to S of j plus 1. Okay, so suppose we have the string like AB, and we need to like, if we have to minimize the cost of my string, we need to prevent making another substring of length 2 and with exactly such characters. Like if we have already been encountered with AB, then we need to avoid to make any substring of type AB again. Okay, like also you can consider, like if we have the strings like A, B, C, and let's say D, then again we are not going to make a string like okay, so I'm going to just complete this string first. Like if you have the string like A B C D A, and again if I'm going to make a B, then you can easily say that yes, I have the string like S of I and S of J like this one. If we have A B string already encountered, and then you can see I have again a AB substring. It is like I would be like this one, and J would be like this one. S of I exactly equal to S of j, and S of I plus 1 is exactly equal to S of j plus 1. Then our cost will be incremented by 1. We need to avoid that condition. So how we are going to avoid that condition? Okay, so for understanding this one, so let us understand this one in very much simpler way. Okay, and what is that simpler way? Okay, the very much simpler way is that we need to consider all the total number of possible distinct substrings of length 2. Okay, so if we have been said like you have only two strings, then what are the total possible number of distinct substrings of length 2? You can say if I would have like A, and I would have like AB, and I would have like a BA, and I would have like BB. Yes, I think these are the distinct substrings. There are only four distinct substrings. So if we have been said that we have to find out the string of any string of n letters, and it consists of only first two alphabets of this one, and we need to minimize the cost, then we must think for first fulfilling these all uh, substrings of length 2, then only we are going to just repeat these orientations. Like first I'm not going to consider or think for repeating the characters. Like I'm going to tell that later on, if what happen if I'm going to just have a string of just we have still haven't fulfilled the entire string of length, and what we are going to do in that case. Okay, no need to worry about, I'm going to explain this later on in this video. Now just think upon, if we have only given these two strings, we need to first fulfill the entire distinct, you can say the distinct the substrings of length 2. How we are going to fulfill that? It is like let's say I am going to have the A, then I am going to just encounter like AB, then I am going to encounter like BB, and then again I am going to encounter like BA. So, like you can say, if we have been asked that n is equal to exactly 5 and k is exactly equal to 2, then I should report this as our answer. And what is the cost of this string? The cost of this string is 0, and which is the minimum possible cost. And how this is minimum? So what are the total number of pairs of I and j such that s of I is exactly equal to s of j, and s of I plus 1 must be exactly equal to s of j plus 1. That is, we need to consider the substring of length 2, that is s of I and s of I plus 1. If there exists substring of length 2 whose characters are already encountered previously, you can say I have this A, I have this AB, and I have this BB, and I have this B. All are distinct. So I have the minimum answer as 0. And any such substring, or you can say any such string, will be this one. And this we can report this as our answer. Okay. So overall, I want to summarize that we need to first fulfill this condition, that is print all the substrings of you can print all the distinct substrings of length 2, then we are going to consider the repeating ones to minimize the cost. Okay, so for now let's understand how we are going to print all the distinct substrings of length 2 to minimize the cost. And this is going to be the very much difficult, or you can say the very much key point or the difficult point of this problem, to print the entire substring of distinct, you can say the distinct substrings of length 2. Okay, so how we are going to print that efficiently if we have been given k equal to 26 and the characters are going from A to Z. This is going to very much efficient uh, point of this problem. Okay, so let's understand how we are going to do that. Okay, so consider a case where we have been given the four, you can say four characters, that is k equal to 4. Okay, and we have this ABCD. Now we need to just print the distinct substrings of length 2 such that we have to going to minimize the cost. So how we are going to print that? Okay, so you may have the logics, any suitable logics of printing the pattern of distinct, I don't know, but what I have used over here, the best one, the efficient one, is I have used the depth first search DFS to print the distinct substrings of length 2. So I am going to just explain how I have done that. Okay, so starting with this, because k must be greater than or equal to 1, so I can print always 1, that is I can always include a in our answer. Now you can see I am just focusing on the latest pushed character. Okay, so let's start with the a, that is if I've already pushed this a character, now I'm going to again push this a. Now still we have distinct one, you can see. Now I'm going to proceed to the next pair, that is AB, and the last pushed character is this B. You can see I have this term as AB, and now you can see I'm going to just, if I've encountered this B, and I can say if B is still not visited, and you can see I have the visited matrix, okay, sorry, I have the visited array over here, that is I have already visited A, so I'm going to mark it as true, and last visited character is B, and it's still it is not visited, so just visit this character B and mark it as true. And now I'm going to work in this adjacency list. Okay, so if I'm going to work in this adjacency list, just focus on what I still we haven't printed. Okay, okay, so okay, one thing I've forgotten to mention, I'm going to just to work upon only this half part. That is, if I'm going to just traversing, still I haven't visited the DFS function of a particular element in the adjacency list, I need to still working on the left hand part of these characters. If you are not going to understand this one, no need to worry about. I'm going to explain this in just 2-3 minutes after this in my video. Okay, so no need to worry about what I'm going to do there over here. Okay, so now you can see I'm in this adjacency list, and still BB is not printed. Again print this B, and you can see last visited character is this one, and it is now visited. So I'm not going to just again come into this B's adjacency list. Now this is done. Now move to the next character, that is BC. Okay, so if I'm in the BC, and you can see I'm just taken this one C, and still C is not visited, mark this as visited, and just come into its adjacency list. So still CC is not printed, just make it at CC, and now move to the another one, that is CD, because you can see last visited character is C, which is already done. So I'm not going to come again into C. Now again it is D, and still D is not visited, come into D, like it should be CD, and D is going to be visited now. And you can see if I have done the entire iteration, that is if that is there are no more elements in this D's adjacency list, that is if I have traversed the DFS of a particular function call, then if I have returned through that DFS, I need to check if I can print the character in reverse order. That is, if I have the printed the character, that is I am going to just write, if I printed the character AB, can I print the character BA? If and only if I can do this, only when the character S of I is going to be not equal to S of I plus 1. Okay, so if I am done with this DD, I need to check if I am going to just print this. Okay, so I think I have missed someone. Yes, I need to print this DD first. Then I am going to check that D's DFS call has been done. Then I am going to check, can we write DD again? No, because if I am going to do this, DD is already done, and again I am going to encounter this DD. So I am not going to do this. So this is going to be wrong. Okay, so for now just understand this, that this DFS function is already done. Now let's traverse back. That is, if I'm going to traverse back, it means that I have already called this DFS function and it is over now. And if it is over now, now I need to check that can we print this DC. Yes, we can print, because last ending character is D always, and I am going to just append this C to its end. Okay, now if I have appended this C to its end, yes it is done. So I am going to check, can we, there are more elements in this C's adjacency list? No, it is now done. Now let's come back into the B's adjacency list with its last function call, that is a function call of this BC. Now I am going to check, can we print CB? Yes, I can print CB. Okay, if I'm going to just append this B, I need to check if I need to traverse this B again or not. No, I'm not going to traverse, because at just visited visited cell, or you can say visited array, says that B is already visited and it is marked as true. Okay, now I'm going to print this CB. Whenever the function call or the DFS function call for a particular letter is already done, just try to print its reverse also if it can be done. Okay, so I'm going to print this CB, and B is already visited, so I'm not going to call this B again. Now check for more elements in this adjacency list, that is like I'm going to print BD. Yes, I can print BD. Now check for D. Yes, D is already visited, do not visit it again. Okay, so can I print its reverse like DB? Yes, I can print DB also. Okay, yes it is done. Now just come back to this AB. Okay, so can I print BA? Yes. Okay, A cannot be called again because A is already visited. Now check for AC. Yes, I can do this. And similarly for CA, and similarly for AD, and similarly for DA. Yes, okay. So this says that these are the distinct, you can say distinct, these are the strings, or you can say this is only one string. This is the string with consisting of all the distinct character and the minimum possible cost. Okay, and now there are two conditions that I need to discuss it about. That is, what about, okay, let's say it has a length of m, and what about this, say, let's say I need n length string. What about if n is going to be like less than or equal to m. If it is less than or equal to m, just take the substring of this string starting with 0 of n length. Okay. And what about if n is going to be greater than m? If n is going to be greater than m, just you need to do is you need to just repeat the characters. That is okay. So if in short I am going to just say, if I have already done this entire string, like let's say m is going to be like 10 and I need to print like 12 characters. So I need to just print the this entire one. Okay, this is for, as an example, I need to print this entire one. I need to print this two more characters. I need to print this starting, I need to print this character starting with this AB. I'm not going to start with this start one. If I'm going to start with this one, you can see the last character is D, A, and then again A, then again A. You can see there are like repeating characters of like A and A. And in spite of doing this, I can do like D, A, and start the repeating ones from the index equal to 1. If I have a zero based indexing, yeah, that is from this A ones. Okay, so just repeat this one, that is like A, B, B, and C, and so on. Okay, so this is the basic approach. And now one thing I think I have forgotten to mention, that adjacency list would be like if I have the A's adjacency list, I would have to print the I would have the characters like A, B, C, and D. If I have the B's adjacency list, I have the characters starting with B, B, C, D, and up to the end. If I have the C's adjacency list, I would have like C and D. And here, if I have D as the adjacency list element, it should be like only D. Okay, up to the end. So this is the basic idea to solve this problem. Only first we need to print the distinct, uh, print the minimum length substring consisting of only distinct substrings of length 2. Okay, so this is the basic DFS approach. So let's move further to understand this problem in the best possible way with the help of coding part also. So let's move further. Okay, so here is the code you can see. So let me start with the main function. Okay, so I have taken n and k as the input. So if n is going to be 1, I am just mentioning the base case over here to avoid any errors, because as you can see, when I am going to submit this code, it should be like time limit exceeded first and then wrong answer test, just because of the base case that I have missed to mention. You can have much more solutions like using the maths approach, but I think this DFS function is the best way to implement this problem. Okay, so if n is going to be 1, just print this a and exit the program. Otherwise just take len as just store the length of the initial string that we want, just for reference. Okay, now just to write the adjacency list, you can see I have defined the adjacency list of size 26 over there as globally, and just iterate up to k, and for every I just start with j equal to I and j less than k, and push the adjacency list elements for a particular I. Now just for reference, you can see just to print the elements, like you can say just to print the elements in a good order, I have already taken as a, as I have already explained in the previously with the help of example. Just I need to print one element in starting for clarification, to print the DFS elements in the required order, and just I have decremented n because I have already taken one element. So just call the DFS starting with 0. Okay, so let's talk about DFS function. So at every step I have written over here, like if n is going to be 0 at any time, just return, because I have already done with that. Okay, so otherwise visited of x is equal to true, that is I have already come to this position previously, or no, I think I have already come, I have come this state now, so that I am going to mark it as visited. Okay, so now I've just traversed in the adjacency list, and whenever we want to print this character, print any character, or after printing this character, just check if n is going to be 0, just return, because I'm not going to do this whenever n is already 0. Okay, so if n is 0, return. Otherwise just take the character ch equals a plus u, that is starting with a lowercase character, and append it to our answer. Note that answer is defined globally and visited vector is also defined globally. And otherwise, okay, so if after this is done, decrement n also and check n is 0, return. And if it is not visited of u, just traverse for the use DFS. Okay, and you know that as I've already said, whenever a DFS call is over, just check it out if I need to I need to print it in reverse order or not. Can I print it? Just check if x is 0, I need to do continue. That is because if I've already print a, I am not going to print again a. That is, I need to first take all the substrings of length 2 which are distinct in my substring of answers. Then only we are going to consider for repeating ones rather than considering it now. Okay. So just I have skipped this part to avoid the repeating ones. Otherwise, if n is 0, return again and check if okay. So I'm not going to check basically. Just push the character into my answer with the help of DFS again and decrement n. And if n is 0, just return as it is. Okay. So when this is done, DFS over is done, my answer will contain only the distinct characters of distinct substrings of length 2, the minimum length string which consists of distinct substrings of length 2. Now it can be possible that we need a string of length n, and there might be possible that n is going to be less than m or equal to m or greater than m. There are three cases. So rather than to write the different cases, rather I am going to just do one thing. Start with an empty string and iterate up to its length, that is less than length, and append the answers like rest plus equals to answer dot substr starting with 1. As I've already said, I've already done a mistake, like if I've already that is I've already done this. Suppose if I have a character like AB only, then I have a distinct substrings like AA, and then I have like AB, and then I have like BB, and then I have like BA. Okay, and this is of length 5. If I have been asked to do for length 6, I need to just repeat one more character. So I need to like print this one first. Okay, and I need to just okay, let's say it is as 7 for explain for understanding then this one in efficient way. So if I need to just print 7 characters, so I need to just repeat it from starting one. If I'm going to repeat it from starting one, it should be like AA. So rather than writing these triple characters as same, just start it from this position. I need to say this one. Just start with from this position. So if I'm going to start from this position, it should be like okay, it should be like ABA, then it should be like A, and then it should end with this one B. Okay, that is this one. That's what I'm going to do for every string till rest dot length is going to be strictly less than length. Okay, and append it to our answer. And finally you can just write it as in general rest dot substring 0 up to length. That is our answer. That is actually the string of n characters. Okay, so this is an accepted code over here. So if you have any doubts, do let me know in the comment section of the video, and I will ask the viewers to like this video, share this video, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you for watching this video.